So today we're gonna focus on intention on this reading, and you will choose an option if you rather determine what is it that you're looking for. We're gonna choose a way to set an intention through the tarot cards. So I have 3 pieces of fabric with a tiny replica of canvas. We're gonna have 3 options then, and on each one there will be an intention for you to grow. So this is a way to manifest what you would like to grow with. What's the main, right now, the main focus of your attention to grow on? And so these are the 3 options that we have. If you chose this one, which is the little 2 kids looking at each other, what you would like to grow in has to do with responsibilities, the ability to respond, as well as creating with the growing fruits, with those things that you already have handy, a background, a way to feel comfortable enough to be standing out of what your instinct and your loyalty right now knows, in order for you to give birth to something else. So you're about to step out, and that's what you are trying to manifest, or what you would like to grow in. The manifestation you would like to grow in has to do with not forgetting about what fruits and what harvest you have had, even if you haven't touched it yet. But you're not leaving that behind. You're just trying to step out and move forward, because you're trying to give birth to something else outside of this image. You're actually looking there already, and your goal may be already set, but you're still unable to let go those fruits behind, because you know they belong to you, and you're trying to sustain them as if they were just part of the background, which is practically awesome. It's like a way of saving, like a way of just trying to not be insecure on what you can grow in the future, since you already have grown a lot. And you also are growing somehow in the way you perceive wealth and healthy thoughts. So your creativity must be focused as well on the enlightenment of the growth and the wealth, as you did before, maybe twice, and as you probably would do with your loyalty and your instincts. At this very moment, not that much focus. What do I mean about this? That maybe even if you are a loyal person and your instincts are always working for you, right now what you would like to give birth to is not that much related to these 2 aspects on your inner being. Actually, the instinct is pretty much playing and sleeping, and your loyalty is distracted with your birth or your pregnancy of new ideas. So what you would like to grow in as well is to be more playful with your instinct and loyal only with what it's about to birth, and not what would you have behind those fruitful things that you already harvest somehow, maybe without even touching them, because as I mentioned, those are just your backgrounds, the support you know you have. What you're trying to give birth to is totally independent from that, and it's your response to that growing on the past. And so you're walking already somehow towards it, but towards the goal, I mean. But you're still kind of finding the right vision to use that magic wand and then follow the nature of this magic. So that's what you need to grow on, and that's the way you will do it as well. I'm going to give you another card just to give more details on it. So the next card, as you can see, has no apples, no fruits. It's a decision taken, and now there's no loyalty, there's no dog, but there's just an instinct. And even if you're trying to focus on one direction, probably the decision will make you feel as if you have to take another direction. And that's why on the first one we have the dog, because no matter how strong the feeling of the instinct could feel, you still have to take care of this dog, not because you're leaving it behind. I mean, this background it's been left behind, but because you also own this loyalty, the giving birth of the new idea has to be complementary with the loyalty of this dog and the pregnancy. So probably once you're giving birth to something, your instinct will be your ally, but just after you got your way in a loyal, actively loyal way of understanding what you're trying to give birth to. And then you will even have things rapidly, like very fast afterwards. And so I will give you as well a view of what is it that you're setting your goal into. I believe it's a different, whole new vision. Look, now the instinct that here was so comfortable and so in its right place, here is like all scary. Can you see it? It's like trying to hold on to you because you're going at a very fast speed, and this instinct is not used to it. And you're like about to fly just as eagles do, with a whole new vision, a more panoramic vision. It's the zero, where the ego is practically neutralized, not because you stop having it, because as long as you're human, you will have certain ways of handle ego, but ego will persist. It's not about that. It's more about not letting your ego interfere with this new vision, even if your instincts, which are part of it, will tell you that you have to be careful because you're too high and you're going too fast. You will even be able to see people sailing on certain calmer waters as you did before, but they're going backwards and you're going towards your vision. So if you feel at times that you're unable to do it because it's too scary to do it, it's too bold to do it, just try to remember that the loyalty you first had is definitely related to giving birth to this manifestation of yours. So even if sometimes you feel comfortable in your instinct and you say, no, this is the right way because this is just the way I feel more comfortable in, what you're trying to give birth is not just comfortability and stability. You're trying to give birth to something totally new, something you've never done, something you're stepping out of for the first time, which has to do with grounded thoughts, grounded things. And you even may have to change your outfit, the way you used to dress, the way you used to do your hair. Maybe you will even have to cut your hair. I mean, a lot of changes could happen just because you're giving birth to something completely different from the background you have. And that's very important to notice when deciding, because the instinct would like to be playful and even sleep if possible. I mean, sleeping is a way also to recovering from things that we at times feel scared or just not comfortable with. But your loyalty, your dog part, your fidelity to yourself is asking you to do that bold gesture. To go ahead and be bold with what you really would enjoy to experience from now on. And it's something that you are not a queen or an empress on because you've never been there. But you gave birth to it through that position of empress. So a part of letting go ego will be as well to recognize and acknowledge that now that you're trying to set new goals, new unknown lands to explore, then you will need a different impression on yourself. As you can see, the first thing that changes is the way that she is looking. Probably not for anyone else but me, the tarotist, and herself. She even dyed her hair. She now has it in a new color, in a new light. She's now wearing pants. She's now kind of worried. She's now kind of moving and hesitating on which direction because the instinct is more comfortable over here. But the dog, the fidelity, is more comfortable over here, which is the loyal path. So yes, just please follow that other part, which is not your instinct, because your instinct will feel fearful of it. But the most noble and lovingly wise part of yourself that knows that you will even feel more young, like you will even feel in a new youth that you've never experienced. You will have to stop feeling comfortable for a while to get this new experience done, as your inner being preferred when you got pregnant to this idea. So this is for number 1. Let's go now with the manifestation, with what you have to grow in. Number 2. I believe there's fire here. Like there's a fire over here. And now they're more like they're closer than on this image, because right now they're probably in a position at the exterior that allows them to be closer to look into something that we don't know, but they're outside. and not resting but being an observer and a participant, each one of the scene. Here they're just contemplating, you see? It's like a more comfortable scene. Here they are like in the expectation of something, or maybe just observing something that just happened. As Francis Sales on that opus that says, the observer is always waiting for the accident to happen. Yes, this is very accidental somehow, very chaotic. Well, basically the ball gesture here, the way to go and move forward with what you want, is the action itself. The action probably without reaction, because he's first looking how to handle the world he has on his hand. And he has more than one way to go with the instincts, because he has even a very antique instinct that we could call instinct, but it could also be a master, like kind of an ally, a very antique ally, an old, very old master of Earth, which is tiny dinosaur. We could call it a gecko, a lizard. However we call it, is just this part of the elder ages of humanity, let's say, keeping all the secrets together, all the secrets of the creation of this world. And it's very close to the magician here, about to handle the wand and make a wish come true. And so there's another part of him pointing towards that fire in between the ancestral information and the fire. And as well, there's another cat, which could be just an observer, or it could be as well part of the equation of the three inside the magician, now being just participants of the manifestation. And there's also not just the fire, but the nocturne view, as if it was an ally as well. So maybe stars, like the alignment of stars, the night, the fire, the concrete or the concretion of something else that just happened recently, but that now needs another movement from this wand to happen outside the tower, has three allies on it. The lizard and the two cats. One of protection, that could be the black one, which is also participating actively, like trying to manifest into magic, but maybe with a little bit of distraction here because of the fire, or simply because there's a little sensation, a tiny one, that maybe he could fall. And the other one, which is more dreamful and on that dreamy side, kind of more reflective and spiritually speaking, more aligned with what the magician is actually trying to focus attention on. So it could be even a fight in between two ways of perceiving this manifestation. One with hope and a dreamy side, one with all the wisdom of life, trying to warn you from what could distract you from it, what could prevent you from doing this magic. And let's see what's the vision you're holding. Well, love. Basically, And maybe that's why there's like this companionship between both, because they're like looking at the same situation, they're the observers of the same situation. They're even like a kind of together because of that vision. So let's say that your goal, and again, two doves, your goal is to finally get to a place where you can infinitely love. And there's something very interesting here, is the mixture in between these two cats that now are the reunion of both, allowing a growth of new seeds turn into tiny branches of a new promising plant, or maybe a tree, or maybe flowers, or who knows what's going to grow from here, but it's already growing. So the goal here is love. It's a very, very promising land of golden thoughts of love. The cup is so full already that the love is pouring out of the cup and feeding the plant. And now the cats that first were like aside of the magician because he was not sure of what was heavier, if the dreamy part and hopeful part or the scary part, now they're together, feeding as well from that cup of love and aside the new plant, keeping it as guardian of it. And as well, we have this new magic that first was on the wand, now is already cooking something here. And on that image, what we see is that the face of this witch is very confident of what she has to give to the resultant plant and the resultant cats or instincts. And right up we have these two doves that now that are together. They're feeling very, how can I say it? It's like joyful of spirit, golden thoughts of eternity, a full cup, nourishing animals and plants as nourishing the nature of the magic that she once cooked. Because this cup came from here, but it's not just the cup. There's a lot here already cooking and ready to be served if needed. And the surroundings of nature. No fruits yet, but already enough confidence to feel comfortable with what's happening, right? What else do we have here? Okay, I believe someone wants to grow with someone else, being guided and leaded by the magic of nature and the rules of this world. So probably because these two girls have the eyes closed, I now can determine that this is the image of being peaceful and full of certainty, at least of what I am and what can I be in balance with another person. And I'm letting myself being guided to do that process. That's my infinite goal. To be able to give and receive in balance the guidance that once I gave myself with my two parts of instinct not together but not reunite, and now as well in a coherence with what I expect to receive from love, for instance. This is a very wise manifestation, in the sense of, I know there's a part of me that will need to handle this with invisible forces acting on my behalf to enrich my own perception of love, nourish, and probably relationships. I will let myself go on that because I have a dreamy part of me that essentially is not naive but ready to share with someone else this guidance that we both could receive. I'm ready to nourish my instincts, both of them, because both are my allies. I'm ready to grow the new seeds, and I'm ready to hold this world with a new perception of balance and equity, probably by sharing with someone else. That might be at times hard for you to do because you tend to just share with yourself, but once you've done this mixture, this reunion of your two parts, now you're ready to share with someone else the inner wisdom you both per se already shared, but now together. So if you're trying to grow as a couple, if you're trying to grow as a partner of someone else, be joyful, be hopeful, because you're doing it great and you're going to achieve it because you're already trying to analyze who you are in this scene and what you're capable to share with others by having this predominance of golden thoughts of eternity, golden thoughts of nourishment, golden thoughts of the invisible happening around me in a very magic way. So I don't even have to feel as if I need to see what's happening that much. We both are sharing the same vision. And that's my belief, and that's the goal here. Now let's go towards the last one. This is a very sensual woman. It's this sensuality that she has that invites you to the scene, but there's an unknown mystery behind her that she's inviting you to come to. So let's see, what's your oh my God, your vision? Your vision is to recognize your sensuality, to finally get to a place of joy, contentment, and stability. You would like to maybe sustain a conversation of emotions with someone, to have a peaceful afternoon, a peaceful sunset, sharing what you are, your sensuality, for instance, even if you're a man, and conquer somehow that sunset as if it was the only one, as if it was the last one, as if it was just that moment forever. It's like trying to capture your essence and share it with someone have someone see that essence in you is what you're trying to grow in. Not because you're focused on the outside, but because you're inviting yourself to discover this reunion in you. You would like to feel as if you are a delight to be seen, as if you are sensual enough to share that with someone else and be observed by that other person. I think this is a lot about femininity. I don't know, because she also has here a fish. As you can see, the instinct of hers has a fish. And so the fish basically is this invitation that she's giving to the other cat. But I don't know if you ever seen those paintings, the Baroque paintings, but not the antique ones, those that were from the Spain Baroque in maybe 1920s or so. When there was there was a painting that I can't remember the name of, but there was this girl, this like lady, naked in front of the image, like laying and in front of the image, but there was a fish like right next to her. And the explanation I received when I saw it was that whenever you smell the fish smell, it kind of sort of gives you like the same reminiscence of the sense of a woman. I mean, the scent of a woman. Have you ever smelled a fish and probably then the sex, the vagina of a woman? And that kind of strong scent of a woman is what she's trying to give here with the instinct to another cat. And this is just like a layer of it, because the other layer is the one that is, maybe you're even trying to grow in confidence to sustain the sight with someone, to sustain looking into each other's eyes. You're trying to be looked. You're trying to be seen. That's what you would like to grow in. But the scene here gives us the sensation of someone very confident on what she wants him to see. And it's the femininity of hers, the sensuality of hers, in a very special way, like in a reunion of a sunset beach day, you know? Something so peaceful, something so utopic, that gives the sense of, I don't know, like you don't need anything else, because now you're staring at each other's eyes and now you're giving the sensuality, the femininity, and you're right next to the sea and you're in a romantic mood. So this is what you're growing in. You're growing yourself in this recognition of your femininity. What you don't have to handle, even if you feel as if you have to, is that other part of yourself that once was maybe even present more than that satisfaction, which was the treasoning of your own femininity. Times when you got so scared that you even made people run from you. Maybe there were times when you were feeling that you were going to be comfortable enough, but you weren't, because you were already so hurt by the past experiences, by those things that no longer have anything to offer, because the last feather the last not feather. It's not. It could be the feather of the crow, but no. I'm talking more about the last leaf of this tree. It was as if that grounded part of yourself that wanted to recognize the sensuality in you was being led to nowhere, because that grounded part was already dead. And the last leaf you gave on it was to someone that not just scared you a lot, but hurt you a lot, because made you feel again, made you rehearse the same pattern that you used to keep yourself to prevent any new experiences to happen. And so you were trying to, get a hold of the new things, but without having consistency, you were just feeling again hurt. And there was a crowd who thought that you will be death by the end of it, and that you would never feel again. And so he was kind of waiting to see that happen while the last person was running out of your life. But then, and I'm seeing this as past because this happened and now you're not there anymore. You're growing. You're growing, and your growing is now preventing you from experiences of rejection, where people may have sensuality elsewhere, not with you, where people won't be able to give you what you deserve, which is a conversation with your emotions and sensuality on the table at the same time, offering and being offered the same look. Because as you can see, there's people who, even if they have the keys to do everything, are already committed to more than one emotion, and they no longer need those type of situations. So you're now growing to recognize that you don't have to handle their emotions, their decisions, their instincts, their own tools to handle. You're growing faster in recognizing when your cup is not going to be part of the conversation, when you will be just part of the fishing manners of the instinct of someone else. So that part of you grown because a part of it died before. And now that you acknowledge that, you will never go back. You will never turn your eyes back. You have that reminiscence of change that brought once this 10 of Swords. Now you're keeping your swords. Maybe you even had to left some of them behind, but those that you're keeping with you are no longer even serving to recognize what just happened. You're not even looking to the past. The wind changed the blowing towards this direction where you're confident enough to being looked the way you want to be looked, as sensual as you would like to be for someone else, as inviting as you once wanted to be with some other people, and as shareable as the other people share, as the other person shares. And this is more, I believe this is a manifestation of something that just happened. I don't think this is in process. I think this just happened, and now you are manifesting, or you're growing to finally get your sunset. But because you've already passed or went through all of this situation that was not comfortable at all, that was not the right perception of your own sensuality once because you knew somehow this was not going to work out, but you also were confident enough to recognize that once you would be able to get out of this, you would be as well ready to take your new adventure on, which is this new vehicle that we see here to come together with another person who is also arriving by the same vehicle. And the vehicle is sometimes just the self-respect that we hold into when things are not working out outside. And so this is an ideal of being looked the way you deserve. Once you recognize that the old methods for you to be seen were dead, and that you no longer need them to be part of you. Now that you're more than aware when someone is not committable for those kind of conversations of the instinct and the personas that you and another could be on the same table. This table is very busy to be handling another cup into the scene, and the person is too distracted and too overwhelmed to even care about what's coming. It's too much to handle. So yes, congratulations to whomever is seeing this option, because this option is full of self-awareness and self-sensuality notion. And that's just amazing. You are growing to finally get your happy ending on the way you're being looked by others, because you're now looking at yourself in a more accurate way. Your perspective has changed, and so your world has led you to changes outside too.